Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Desi earrings. And we're going to be doing this particular color, which is the gold Desi bridal earring. You can use any color of the rhinestone cup chain, pearl cup chain, and crystal chatons that you want to combine. I have here a couple other examples. This is the Desi earring in turquoise, and I have the turquoise cup chain, pearl cup chain, and a turquoise chaton. And here I have it in rose. And then I also made some ring combinations, and this is with jet and turquoise. So I'm using Nunn design bezels for these specific projects. This is a Nunn design bezel earring, this is a Nunn design bezel ring, and this is a 20mm bezel. So the inside is a little under 18mm. So if you're going to use a different bezel, you might need to experiment a little bit with the sizes of the cup chain that you use and the size of the chaton that you use in order to make it fit. For this size, I'm using, for the outer ring here, a 24 pp rhinestone cup chain, which has 3mm stones inside the settings. For my second row, I'm using an 18 pp pearl cup chain that has a 2mm pearl inside the settings. And then I'm using an SS29 chaton, which is 6.23mm. And I've got the antique gold earring setting, and then I've got the brass and crystal larger cup chain and the brass and white pearl smaller cup chain. If you want to do them the way I've done them here, I matched the chaton to the larger outer layer of the cup chain. You just need to find colors that match. You could also use colors that you just think look pretty together without being the same color. You can play around with the combinations and do it however you like. One thing to keep in mind is when you are using cup chain, it can contract in and expand out. I think it looks really nice when you take the time to remove the extra space so that you get more crystals per inch, as it were. I happen to know that I need 13 crystal links to fit inside this bezel, but all I did to find that out was put it inside and then see where it meets up with them all pushed together, which is going to be right there. So if you're using a different size, you can experiment and play around and see what fits. I'm going to go ahead and lay it in and make sure that fits, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my inner layer, my pearl cup chain. And it can be a little tricky to get it to lay with the pearl side up. It kind of wants to turn. Get it started. Go ahead and lay that in. See how long you need it. For this one, we're going to use 9 links. And then I'm just going to verify that that's going to fit. Sometimes these chains bend easier one way than the other, or you'll get a certain segment that doesn't want to bend right. It's a little fidgety, but you can usually find a way that makes it work. And then you can see that we have just about a perfect amount of space for our chaton in the middle. Now all we're going to do is glue this in using E6000 glue. And I've got just a post-it notepad there, so you just need some scratch paper. I like to clean off the tip. And then just apply a layer of glue to the bottom of the bezel, going all the way to the outside. And clean off the edges if it gets on the edges. And then just set the outer layer of the chain into the glue. You can scoot it around a little bit, get it in place. If you need to use tweezers to adjust the crystals and make sure that they sit right, that's a really handy tool. Just like a fine tip jewelry tweezer. Okay, and then while that glue is still wet, we're going to just lay the center cup chain in right inside the first row. Just like that. And now I'm using a chateau with a pointed back instead of a flat back because I need the height that the point is going to give us. So it is a little tricky to get this point back stone to sit flat here. What I did to make it work is I use a lot of glue. That's my big magic trick. So you're going to fill the space, and you want to give it a decent amount of glue. You don't want it overflowing, but you do want it to have a decent amount of glue across the whole bottom right there. Don't go over the edge of that inner piece of cup chain, but you can go up to about where the metal setting ends. And then carefully place the chateau right into the center. And now you're going to want to really carefully try to center it and make it flat, and look at it from the edge and see if it's tilted one way or another, and keep rotating to make sure that it's laying flat. It looks like I got really lucky that time and it laid flat right away. And we're going to set it on the edge of the notepad, or if you have a couple of seed bead tubes or something laying around, that you can sit it between, anything to kind of keep it flat. And what I did too is I let it sit for a few minutes when I did these, and then I went back and checked before it was fully set up to make sure that it hadn't shifted. And you'll just want to keep your eye on it until it's firmly set up so that it doesn't move around. So it's actually a really quick and easy project with a really high impact. These are beautiful, they look vintage. I want to make them in 20 colors and wear them all. So it's really fun and easy way to make really pretty jewelry.